Hi, my name is Beck and I am excited to talk about some more anticipated releases. Technically, I've already done this video, but some new books have come up on my radar. Some of them are already technically out at the beginning of this year, but then the rest of them are through the rest of the year. So I'm looking forward to talking about them and for them coming out. Can I afford them? No. Am I excited about them anyway? Yes. So let's get into them. I'm loving this new wave of cozy fantasy books because the first book I want to talk about is A Tempest of Tea and Blood, which is about Arthur Casimir, who is a criminal mastermind and a collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room is a location for vampires, and at nighttime it transforms into an illegal blood house. But when her establishment is threatened, she has to get together a ragtag crew and do a heist. Awesome! I'm looking forward to this one. Fantasy, vampires, heist, and potentially a subplot of romance. I am definitely in. This one came out on the 20th of February. I've seen the cover everywhere, and like everyone else, I'm like, I think I'll like this one. Then we've got The Baker and the Bard, which is a fantasy graphic novel, also cozy. And this one is about Juniper and Hadley. They have a good thing going at the moment, performing at the local tavern and also baking at the local bakery, when one day a stranger places an unusual order at the bakery and they have to go out and find the ingredients for this order. While they're out foraging for fulfilling this order, they stumble across a mystery, and this monster is coming in, devouring farmers' crops, leaving behind this goo and then disappearing, and so they want to get to the bottom of what is happening. It just sounds really cute and potentially up the same alley as The Tea Dragon Society, which is another fantasy graphic novel that's also cozy that I absolutely love. So I'm hoping that this one is kind of in a similar vein. Then the next one is publishing on the 3rd of April, so it is a new release, but I've seen this around on BookTube already, and it is The Dragons of Deepwood Fen. And it follows an unlikely pair as they expose the secrets at the heart of this mountain city called Ancrus. One of the characters is an inquisitor, one of the characters is a dragon rider, and at one point this secret they have uncovered means that they need to flee the city on dragonback, and I imagine the story takes off from that point on. But it's got dragons, it's got heists and conspiracies and magic, like obviously I'm going to try it. Then we have a sapphic romance, and that is called Late Bloomer. And basically winning the lottery has ruined Opal's life. She has people constantly knocking on her door and asking for money and for payments and everything. And to escape this life and kind of hide in her little hermit hole and do her painting and her art, she goes out and buys a flower farm, and then on that flower farm there is a separate cabin, and that's where she does all her art. But then enter Pepper Smith, who is the resolute previous owner and worker at the flower farm, and she's like, just because you bought it doesn't mean it's yours, this is mine, and she basically stakes a claim on it and prevents Opal from being self-isolated and doing her art. And I believe it's like an opposites attract romance, and I'm looking forward to the sparks that are going to fly in this book. Then we've got The Honey Witch publishing on the 14th of May, and this one is about Marigold. She has always preferred the company of spirits to any of the people trying to woo her, so when her grandmother offers her the opportunity to whisk her away as the Honey Witch and then train her, she readily accepts. However, the Honey Witch is not allowed to be in a relationship. But when a young woman who doesn't believe in magic arrives on the island, sparks fly. I don't know what it is about cozy fantasy and sapphic romance, but there seem to be a lot of them popping up lately, and I'm just very excited about them. This next one is about a private guard and a powerful mage, and it's called Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, which is also out around mid-May. Raina and Kianth want to leave their lives, which is not so easy when you've got a ruthless queen throwing temper tantrums, but they just want to leave, open a coffee shop, cover it in plants, and just thrive in their best lives ever in a small cozy setting. And I love this whole romanticizing of the downtime, the relaxing, the having a nice quiet beverage with foliage and greenery surrounding you. Like, that is the life that I also aspire to. So if I can read about it and then also have it include magic and potentially a sapphic romance on the side, I'm down for it. Then we've got the last book in one of my favorite series ever, and that is Brother Song by TJ Klune. It is about love, loss, betrayal, sacrifice, family, support, werewolves. I just love this series so much. I obviously can't say what this book is about because it is book 4 and the final book in this series, but it comes out in July and I am waiting with bated breath. Like, I needed this last year. Like, I need it so soon. I think I'm going to go into a massive reading slump or book hangover after it because it's just going to be that good. I'm not ready, but I'm ready, you know? Then on the 13th of August, we've got The Phoenix Keeper, which I've seen people who have already read this book, which confuses me, but this must be the Australian publication date or something. Anyway, this is about the head phoenix keeper at a zoo for renowned magical creatures, and bringing these phoenix species back to life is basically her passion. However, the breeding program at the zoo hasn't really paid the phoenixes any attention. In fact, the breeding program hasn't functioned at the zoo in like a decade's time. So she is really struggling. She's also got an arch nemesis rival at the zoo that used to be her college rival as well, named Lorelei. And when I saw that this book had been compared to Travis Baldree, TJ Klune, and Casey McQuiston, I was like, I think I'm going to adore this book. It seems to have just the perfect blend, at least in the synopsis, of magic, intent, magical creatures as well, and yearning and sapphic romance. I'm looking forward to it so much. And then speaking of sapphic romance, we've got Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I loved the Bright Falls trilogy by her, and this is a new female-female romance that she's written. It comes out at the 29th of October, I think. So it's a Christmas release somehow around October. Make it make sense. But it's been 5 years since Charlotte Donovan was left at the altar, which is usually a trope that I hate, and I'm hoping that Ashley Herring Blake does it justice, because already I'm like, oh, I don't know. But it's also Ashley Herring Blake, and I've liked her a lot before, and she tends to have a lot of communication, so I'm gonna cross my fingers. And then it's also about Brighton Fairbrook, and her band has just kicked her out. And Charlotte, the one who got left at the altar, her bandmate Sloane has invited her away for Christmas, and she's also friends with Brighton, so she invites both of them to this getaway, and they have to pretend not to know each other when they've got this shared history. And 5 years ago, you know, they were ex-fiancés. So it's going to be emotionally charged, and I hope there is a really good justification for being left at the altar, because if there's not, I think I'm gonna be mad. So I'm gonna hope that this is good. Then I've got 2 book releases that I need to talk about, but I don't think they're coming out this year. So the first one is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame sequel, which I thought was coming out in November, but since then Goodreads has combined the listing of book 3 as book 1 and 2 as a bind up. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I don't have a release date for the 3rd book in that series anymore, which is annoying. And I also have Brandon Sanderson on this video because he's always bringing out books. And The Song of the Dead, I think, is his new release coming out in January 2025. Even though he's also got a Stormlight 5 book coming out on the 6th of December. The man just keeps writing. So that's completely wild, but I thought I would mention it given that he's only just announced his new book. So anyway, those are all of the books that I am renewed and excited about. Let me know if any of them are on your radar, or if I've missed any. I would love to hear, especially if you've got more cozy fantasy. I clearly love cozy fantasy at the moment, but thank you again so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.